You want to see happiness? Let me show you. You're looking at happiness. That's what it is. That is exactly what it is. Last week, when I heard the news of the passing of Liam Payne, I didn't really want to talk about it, especially when we heard that it was a possible act that was self-inflicted. But recently, when reports came out of the cause of death and all the substances that were found in his system, I thought maybe there's something we can discuss respectfully about the correlation between success and extreme behavior and extreme self-soothing. But first, let's do a little background for those of you who may not know who he is. Liam Payne is a former member of the boy band One Direction. This is a group that started in a kind of unusual way. They were put together in a reality competition talent show, The X Factor. And Simon Cowell, who became famous for American Idol, he was one of the judges at this competition who found the boys, put them together, made them a group, and they became one of the biggest successes in the musical world some years ago. Now, a couple years ago, maybe 5 years ago, the group disbanded and they all went their separate ways. And out of that group, only Harry Styles was the one who really broke out as a major celebrity. We have seen his very successful musical solo career. He's been in movies, and he seems to be the one breakout star. He's like the Justin Timberlake of One Direction. The others kind of floundered, including Liam. And from what I understand, he kind of became kind of like a joke. All the other ex-band members, even though they weren't as famous as Harry, they seemed to be living normal lives. But Liam seemed like the one that was doing the most, and he was, I really don't know. I didn't really listen to the group and their music. I wasn't into them. But from what I'm hearing lately, it seems as if Liam was the one who was struggling the most. Now, the fact that he wasn't able to really become a breakout star after he became a solo artist may have played a part in his substance abuse. But then I saw this clip of an interview where he was talking about how his substance issues really started at the height of his stardom.
When we were in the band, the best way to secure us, because of how big it got, was just lock us in our rooms. And of course, what's in the room? Minibar. So at a certain point, I thought, well, I'm going to have a party for one. And that just seemed to carry on throughout many years of my life.
Which is really sad as you listen to him talking about the loneliness that he felt even when he was at the height of his career. But what is it about all these very talented people who hit the big time, who end up so unhappy in the throes of addiction that end up taking their lives? People like Whitney Houston, Amy Winehouse, Jimi Hendrix, Elvis Presley, Basquiat, Michael Jackson, all these incredibly talented people. We hear the stories over and over again. Why are these people the ones that end up disproportionately ending their lives too soon in the grips of an addiction disorder? Is there a correlation? Are the most talented people more likely to take on these activities, to take on extreme behavior? Or is it the lifestyle that comes with the success, that comes with the talent? Which one is it? Money doesn't buy happiness. We know this. It's a well-known saying. But I've always felt, yeah, it doesn't buy happiness. But the extra freedom that comes with having money, shouldn't that enhance your level of happiness? Shouldn't it make it easy for you to attain happiness? What is happiness? What is this thing? You know what? You want to see happiness? Let me show you. You're looking at happiness. That's what it is. Okay, let me explain what you're looking at. For you to feel happy, a myosin protein has to drag an endorphin molecule into the part of your brain called the parietal cortex. Don't you just love science? I love science. And happiness, like anything we experience, is a chemical reaction. We experience the world through chemical reactions that are taking place in our body. And through these reactions, we interpret the world and we develop feelings, whether they're positive or negative. Now, let me break it down. Endorphins are hormones that your body releases when it needs it the most. When you are experiencing some kind of pain or you're stressed, when you're experiencing discomfort, these endorphins are released to kind of alleviate the stress and the pain that your body is experiencing. These endorphins then attach to opioid receptors in your brain, and by doing that, it allows you to release dopamine. Dopamine, in addition to making you feel good, it also gives you a feeling of motivation. It motivates you to do things. So these endorphins are usually released when you are engaged in some kind of strenuous activity, like you are doing exercise, you're doing physical labor, when you're having sex. Anytime the body is stressed, naturally endorphins will be released in that moment. Another time when endorphins are released is when you're connecting with other human beings. We already mentioned sex, but also when you're just spending time with people, when mothers are breastfeeding their babies. These are all moments where these endorphins are released. And not only are these endorphins supposed to make you feel good, they bring some kind of a relief to you, but they also create a sense of connection. Now, these are the ways in which the body naturally releases endorphins. Now, if you're taking drugs, if you're drinking too much, when you abuse substances, what you are in fact doing is you are flooding your dopamine receptors, your opioid receptors. You are flooding them. You are overwhelming them to the point where they won't be able to react normally when your body naturally releases endorphins and dopamine. You're basically wearing out the receptors that allow you to feel those feelings that those hormones are supposed to make you feel naturally. And when your receptors are overwhelmed and have been worn out, then that poor myosin protein that is supposed to transport the endorphins to the right part of the brain, it could be making that trip as many times as it wants to, but your receptors are not going to be able to feel anything because you have worn them out with substances that really don't belong in your body. And over time, the feeling of happiness just won't come anymore. The abuse of substances and success. Well, you might think, okay, well, when a person has a lot of money, they can afford to take these substances. That's true. But why do they want to take these substances? Well, remember when I told you that endorphins are released when the body is engaged in strenuous activity and also when you connect with others? Well, here's the thing with all these mega celebrities, especially the ones that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. When you become famous and the whole world has its eyes on you and your fans are flocking to you and they tell you how much they love you and they want to be around you and they want to just touch you and be there with you, it changes your connection to people, because now you are in a way forced to connect with people you don't even know. These are strangers. Your fans may say how much they know you, they know about you, but you guys don't really have a real human connection. What they know about you is the information you release to them, the information your PR team releases to them, and they form an attachment to you based on that. They form what's called a parasocial relationship when people don't really know you, but they feel like they know you. Well, it creates a kind of a strange relationship that has nothing to do with the natural connection between people who get to know each other in real life. So you as an artist kind of become confused. Your fans love you, but do they? They say they know me, but do they? And so you form an attachment with them. And as you create an attachment that is based on an unnatural relationship, your real relationships with the people who know you, your friends and family, you don't get to spend as much time with them because, like Liam said in that interview, to stay safe, they had to be isolated in their hotel rooms whenever they traveled. And when you're a successful group, you're traveling a lot. And that's going to create a disconnect between the people who you love and yourself. So you spend less time with the real people in your life who really know you and love you, and you're spending more time with people that don't really know and love you. That is not a real connection. And the release of dopamine that you're going to have when you're in touch with these people is not going to be the same as when you are dealing with people in real life. In addition to that, the other thing that I mentioned was that endorphins are released when you engage in physical activity. It could be normal things like going for a run, going for a walk, cleaning your house, washing your car, all the things that normal people do. And then you have the dopamine that is released, that is a motivator for you to do those things. Like when you get up in the morning, if you don't have dopamine that tells you, hey, it's time to make up your bed, get dressed to go to your normal job, when you're no longer engaging in these everyday normal things, there is no dopamine release because you're not really exerting yourself like you used to. You don't have to make up your bed in the morning. Somebody will make the bed up for you. Somebody will come and clean your house. You have the money now. So you're paying all these people to come and do the things that you used to do normally. And when you lose that normalcy in your everyday life, that is when your body stops releasing these substances, these feel-good hormones on a normal, everyday basis. So now you rely more on these artificial substances, these chemicals, the drugs, the alcohol, the vaping. You rely on these things to get those feelings that you used to normally get by doing normal things in your normal life. It always made me wonder when I would see some of these celebrities. They have everything is at their fingertips, and they go crazy. They are abusing substances, they're acting out, they're getting in trouble with the law, and you're thinking, what is wrong with you? You have everything that people would kill for, and here you are acting like the most unhappy person in the world, the most miserable person in the world. What is wrong with you? They have lost the little things that they engaged in every day, day in and day out, that they had no idea was keeping their brain happy. You think to yourself, I can't wait until I win the lottery so that I can have somebody come and wash my dishes and clean my house and cook my food and wash my car and make my bed and do all these things. So all I can do all day is relax, binge watch Netflix, and just be happy. But those things that you can't wait to get rid of, you had no idea that those were the things that were daily maintenance for your brain, that were keeping your brain sane. And once you get rid of those activities and all you do is sit around and do nothing, that's the definition of hell on earth. We think it's paradise, but you had no idea that making your bed up in the morning, starting the day with one victory. My bed was a mess. I made it nice. I walk off. I look at it. Every morning when I make my bed, I take a moment to step back and look at it, even though I've been doing it for decades. There's just something satisfying about knowing that when you come home tired at the end of the day, you're coming home to a clean environment, a relaxed environment. It's going to play a role in making you feel relaxed when you get home. And all these things are part of the ecosystem of well-being for your brain. But I think really the biggest issue that drives celebrities into substance abuse is the isolation from real relationships, from real friendships. Even the people they have around them all the time, these are people that they don't really trust to have their best interest at heart. Because they're probably thinking, you're just here for the money. You're here for the good times. You're here for the private jet and the food and the drinks and the drugs. But the people that were there for me, that have always been there for me when I had nothing, sometimes you're isolated from them. And it's no surprise that the celebrities that tend to have a level head are the ones who, wherever they go, you see that their family is with them. Their parents are there, the siblings, their old friends from high school, they bring them along. Those are the things that are going to keep you grounded and humble and are going to maintain that normal connection. They're going to give you that perspective to know, it's nice that my fans, they think they know me and they love me, but these are the people who really love me and they are here with me to remind me that I am a real person and that I am deserving of love, doesn't matter what I have or don't have. So the people who don't have that, they're not having those normal endorphin and dopamine releases, so they have to take substances to feel those feelings. And the more of those substances that they take, they wear out their receptors. The receptors are now incapable of feeling the natural rush of endorphins. So what do you do to compensate? You take more drugs and more alcohol and you numb yourself even more. And it's a vicious circle that in many instances, like in the case of Liam, end up costing them everything. So what do you do? What is the moral of the story? Don't become rich and famous. No. You can protect your happiness. You can pledge to yourself. It doesn't matter where my life takes me. It doesn't matter how successful I become in the future. There are certain things that I'm going to do to protect my sanity and my happiness. Do not lose connection with the people who loved you before the success. And by the way, this is not advice just for people who are going to become successful. This can happen to anybody at any stage in their life, at any economic level. We see this happening all the time. There's a lot of poor people who end up falling into the clutches of substance abuse. You need to understand how your brain works to protect its sanity and its happiness. And if you understand these principles, wherever you go and whatever you do, make sure that you maintain these principles. Stay connected to the people who love you. Make an effort to meet with them, to see them regularly. If you don't live near them, talk to them on the phone. Don't just text. Talk to them. Hear their voice. Listen to the tone of their voice. Have Zoom conversations with them. If you're so far away that you can't really see them on a weekly or monthly basis, then form your new family circle. Make friends. How do we make friends? Volunteer. Organizations that are looking for volunteers, they are desperate for people to sign up. So look at a cause that speaks to your heart and volunteer for that cause and make friends there. Join a church. Join an activity club, a running club, a hiking club. Learn a sport. Become friendly with the people that you have things in common with, because you really are going to need those connections. They are vital for the well-being of your brain. They are vital for your emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. Also, do the normal things that you've always done. Making your bed, washing your car. This year, I have been doing a lot of washing my own car. There's a car wash that I can go to and just pay less than $10. But there is something really satisfying about doing the hard work. Washing a car is hard. It takes a lot. But it is so satisfying when you're done cleaning out your car inside and out. And if you're really fancy and you do the waxing and the whole thing, to walk away and see a car that was filthy and see how clean it is, how shiny it is, and to know that you did it. It is amazing how these little activities really were made for us. And the problem we're having in this modern society, we have so many people, so many more young people who are suffering from depression and anxiety, and they're having panic attacks, is because the world we live in, we really weren't made for. Everything is too easy. It is just too easy. The other day I ordered something from Amazon and I just couldn't believe it. How easy it was for me to just look at the thing, click one button, and the next day it was at my door. In the old days, if you needed to get something, you needed to go to the store, and sometimes you had to go to different stores, and hopefully they had the exact thing you wanted. And when you finally found it, you were so happy, you were so excited, and the ride home, you were so excited that you finally found this thing that you wanted. Nowadays, there are things you don't even know if they exist. You go to Amazon, and there it is. There is that thing that you just thought, do they make things like these? And they make them in the exact way that you need them. I'm not complaining. I love the convenience of Amazon, but every once in a while, go on a wild goose chase. Go on some expedition to look for something at an antique store. Go looking for something that you know you're not going to find somewhere, so that it will give you a sense of mission and purpose, because that's what we were created for. That's what we evolved to do, depending on what you believe. Our brains are really not made for the modern world we live in. And it is up to us to fight for our sanity, to make the decision to, it's okay to do difficult things every once in a while because it's good for me. The stress, the tension, it is good for me. Because when I do these difficult things, the body will sense, oh, she's doing something difficult. Let's release some endorphins. Let's release some dopamine, so that she can, so she can have some relief from this strain. And that way, it's brain maintenance. You really are worth the happiness that is there for you to have. You just have to learn how your brain works, how to control your emotions, how to control your thoughts. by the decisions you make. Your world is created by your emotions, and your emotions are created by your thoughts, and your thoughts are controlled by you. Rest in peace, Liam Payne. He was so young, 31 years old, sending love and warm thoughts to his family. When we see tragedies like these, it's not for us to despair, but for us to try to learn something from these experiences of others. That's the gift that these people who end up perishing young leave behind. They leave life lessons for us to learn from. Okay, so I hope I was able to bring a little bit of that with this video. I hope you learned something new. I hope this was something that made you appreciate your brain a little bit more and made you want to be good to it. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you come and join our little growing channel. While you're here, please look at my other videos, see if you like some of them. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this topic. Also, please share this video with others who might find it interesting. Thank you once again for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.